That is a live react.
Go ahead and just delete the entire stream or a series of VODs and clips from my dashboard. One question that we've heard multiple times
I just
across
shaved my
social
ass and
media,
it
feedback,
feels like
email,
I put a
customer
fucking
support,
cactus
everywhere,
into my
is
fucking
I
asshole.
deleted content from my dashboard. I went in and I tried to delete it, but it's still showing up on Twitch. Does that put my content and my channel at risk?
Yeah, I'm glad someone asked this question because it gives us a chance to address this misinformation we've been hearing. So if you've deleted the content, you will not get a strike. If you've used Twitch tools to delete your content and it's still viewable and you receive a strike against it, for example, that it's a large job and it needs additional time, or there are other deletion jobs in progress, you will not receive a strike in those cases. It's important to note that this does
guys,
not
is this the new kappa emote?
tools that may exist on Twitch's systems. That's because
does anybody know if this is gonna be the new updated kappa emote?
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to clarify and touch on that point.
Because this dude be capping.
Audible Magic just a few minutes ago. Do you have any updates for us in terms of Audible Magic or what might be coming?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we use Audible Magic right now to scan new clips and VODs.
Kidding.
We delete the entire clip or mute the segment of the VOD if copyrighted music is detected.
Unpublished VODs and batches.
We started using Audible Magic to go back and scan all historical clips that have been made, as well as all VODs that were created before it was introduced in 2014. So this scanning is ongoing, but it will take time for Audible Magic to scan years and years of VODs and clips. We'll keep making progress, but we expect the scanning to be
What about?
We did get a question about muted audio on the topic of
making the content unavailable for others to see, but you to see as a creator, and waiting until it's filtered and approved by these systems to then make them available for the public.
That a takedown notice was filed. Can you clear that up?
Yeah, so there's a difference between seeing a muted audio warning in your video producer dashboard and receiving a DMCA takedown notice. A muted VOD does not mean you received a DMCA strike. It means our vendor Audible Magic detected copyrighted music and muted that segment of the VOD. This is actually, aims to help prevent DMCA strikes, and it's not an indication that you've
That's literally what publish means. No, it's not.
That said, as you mentioned, Aaron, no technology is perfect, and it's possible that Audible Magic doesn't pick up.
Publishing is automatic.
Audio.
Yeah, we've said it a few times. It's a safety net, but it's definitely not perfect. So you can't rely on that solely. You can't put the content and assume that it's just going to catch 100% of it. So these tools are there to try to help you in case something slips through, not to allow you to put content on your stream that you don't
talking shit, man,
and then remove it later. But you mentioned, we talked about the confusion of knowing when you got a strike or knowing when you've just had a VOD that's muted. And I think the last thing that we should talk about with you here today is something that definitely needs some attention and we should do a better job at, and that's our system for managing DMCA notifications and appeals and notifying streamers when they do receive those notifications. So guys, if you aren't familiar right now, Twitch sends DMCA notifications to creators in an email.
Why do we get DMCA fucked?
Content that was in violation.
When on YouTube, we get DMCA warned.
But honestly, email is not a reliable system.
So YouTube system, whenever you break the rules and you get DMCA'd, they lube you up, right? But on Twitch, whenever we break the rules and we get DMCA'd, they go dry. That's weird, dude.
Should not be the only channel we use for important notifications like this, because as you mentioned, it's easy to miss an email or it's easy for it to be sent to the spam folder.
You get it?
To fix this, we're going to build functionality that when you receive the
notification,
you receive the notification on Twitch as well as in an email. We expect to release this in the first half of
They just monetize your content on YouTube,
but we also want to make it easier to navigate the entire DMCA process. In 2021, we're going to release a series of updates to enable creators to learn when they've received.
What if I allocate a portion of ad rev ahead of time into a small
notifications if they believe they wrongly received
line, and then they can get the juice from that if they want to claim the revenue off the one song I did.
It's going to be a pretty huge step, not just for understanding the content, but also making it easier to navigate. I know
what if 20% of my live ad rev goes inside of a possible bank or whatever, and whenever they want to juice it up, okay, and say, hey, that's my song, they can yoink it. Sure, man, go ahead, man, yoink it, dude. I don't give a fuck. I don't care, dude.
Are strikes for DMCA violations the same as strikes for violating Twitch's terms of service? We haven't really been clear about the difference between the two, and so I was hoping that you could clear that up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, great question. So
Oh, but well,
strikes
then
received
they
for
get some of
DMCA
those.
violations are different than those received for terms of service violations.
Well, then they're gonna get all of it.
Community guidelines violations, and then they're not
It's
added
not gonna
together in
happen.
any way. So, for example, say if you received an enforcement on your channel for a community guidelines or terms of service violation.
Love you,
This is
xQc,
separate from
not
and not
seen a
counted
stream
against
for a
our
while,
DMCA
been busy,
repeat
glad
infringer
to be back,
policy, which is
xQc.
purely
Hold
concerned
on.
with the
Chat,
number of
this is actually interesting. I want to watch a little bit more of this.
Likewise, if you've run afoul of Twitch's repeat infringer policy, DMCA strikes do not impact your ability to use Twitch products that require your account to be in good standing, like Bounty Board.
Yeah, I know that there were some streamers that
Interesting.
weren't aware of those nuances, so I'm glad that we were able to clear that up. We just covered
Chat,
a lot.
chat,
There were a lot of slides.
my bounty mode these days is disabled. Anybody guys want to know why? You want to know why it's disabled?
Also do a quick
'Cause they can't
recap
afford
of
it.
the product roadmap so we can see in one place everything that's happening now and what's going to be coming up in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, so quick recap. So we released 3 updates this week. We integrated soundtrack from Audible audio technology into OBS 26.1. We gave editors access to manage clips, and we added the functionality to let you unpublish individual VODs. Next quarter, we're going to continue to
I'm not gonna lie, you're an
expand
attractive
VOD
guy. I'm not getting what you're
functionality
saying.
to let
Oh,
you
thanks,
select a batch of VODs to unpublish and delete. And then in Q2, we're going to give users access to Soundtrack's multi-track audio technology
See.
in
Just what you did. This is just what you did. Look.
deleting clips by date, game, or view count, and we'll also add functionality that lets you unpublish all of your VODs at once and file a calendar notification directly from the creator dashboard. And while all this is going on, Audible Magic is going to continue to be scanning historical content and deleting clips or muting VODs where it detects audio on its database. And then finally, I want to remind everyone that we have a creator camp session that Aaron mentioned earlier on December 22nd about products that help
Chat, what's the next topic? I have ADHD.
All awesome stuff, Jeremy. Thank you so much, chat.
This is my-
Again,
this is
if
my
you
Burma
have
now.
questions about anything that we just
This is my
covered
Burma
as
now.
it relates to DMCA that we might not have covered, make sure that you type them in chat and use !ask so that we can log them,
Like that.
catalog them, and get you all the answers so that we can cover them in our Q&A section at the end. Jeremy, thank you so much. We will see you in that Q&A, so we'll see you here again in a little bit.
Thanks for having me, everyone.
You're welcome.
So switching gears, we covered DMCA. Now we're going to get to our second topic for today, trust and safety. So joining us now is our Chief Operating Officer, Sarah Clemens. Sarah, welcome.
Hey, Erin, how's it going?
Good.
Trust
Do you
and
wanna
safety.
Go ahead and introduce yourself to chat.
Absolutely. So,
Guys,
Sarah Clemens,
they're
I'm
so
Chief
close on being
Operating Officer
cool.
for Twitch, and I run everything that focuses on taking the products that are launched, so the types of things Jeremy was just describing, out to our creators and our viewers. So things like the partnerships team, our marketing team, all of our corporate functions, including trust and
So
safety.
close yet so far.
We're going to spend the bulk of our time today in this segment talking specifically about the hateful conduct and harassment policy. But before we jump into that, I wanted to take a minute to talk about some of the other improvements and the progress that we've made this year to help keep our community safe. So I want to give you a second to talk about what stands out to you and what we've done this year.
You don't get it?
And firstly, I'd just like to say to everybody, thanks so much for showing up.
'Cause it's cool, not cool.
Just
It's
amazing
one letter
to see
away.
people who have
So
dropped
it's
into the town
close
hall. I
from
know a lot
being
of our
cool.
creators are co-streaming it, so it's great to be able to have a conversation with you about these topics. So in terms of trust and safety, yeah, we've had a really big investment area in 2020 on trust and safety. It's a priority for us. It will absolutely continue to be. This is a perpetual area of investment for us. I want to kick off with a few policy updates, and just this has been a big focus. We've heard from the community that they wanted us to make
nudity,
the
attire,
community
sexual
guidelines
content,
clearer
policies.
and to improve enforcement consistency. So there's been a really strong focus around those two objectives. We've issued several policy clarifications this year that have been specifically about addressing community feedback about issues such as drop
She
spamming
speaks
and
Australian?
also suspension evasion. We rolled them out quite quickly because the issues had cropped up in real time and we wanted to address any areas of confusion and provide as much clarity as possible. We did a much longer process when we overhauled our nudity and attire policy. This had been a real hot topic for the community, a source of confusion, and
It's New
there
Zealandish.
had been frustration around this in particular. And so we did a lot of work and rolled that policy out to provide
10 months.
more clarity
Hope you love the
around
streams.
what
Always
you were
radiate
able to
big
do in
juice
terms of
energy.
nudity and attire, so that you could feel more
xQcl.
confident and understood exactly what was covered under the policy.
Belly
And
stream
then,
pugoo.
just to clarify, new policies are only effective if we can enforce them consistently and fairly.
Chat.
So one of the
Guys,
big investments we've made in this space is
I want what they say about clarifying policies about nudity and whatever.
2020, and that's helped reduce the median.
I'm not gonna stay for this, and then we're gonna go next.
Which
Let me just watch this.
again is an area we'll keep focusing on. Having really
I'm learning.
responses to reports is critical to creating a really robust trust and safety system.
Look at the chat.
We've not only been
chat's fine. It's been pretty cool.
to our trust and safety team, but we've also been adding some new expertise. So, in particularly, we've focused on deepening our language cover globally so that we can get quick responses in all the different languages around the globe. And then we've also broken out a dedicated appeals team and a dedicated law enforcement team. And so that helps us, again, just have specialty around those particular areas. As I said, this is a perpetual area of investment for us. There's no end state when it comes to safety, and we're really committed to our efforts to protect and help the community, and we'll continue to invest heavily here.
Chat, I want to what they say about nudity, attire,
So
and gray areas
definitely
around
making
it.
progress and enforcement and consistency, response time. All of those things are things that we hear from the community are a huge part in ensuring Twitch is a safer place to be and a big step for just safety in general, but it's definitely only part of it. So can you give us a rundown of the tools specifically that we've launched this year to help with moderation on Twitch?
Absolutely.
Well, no.
Moderation is just critical.
No way.
Shout out to the mods.
They already did.
We launched ModView to Help in March, which is it's a one-stop shop.
I missed it because I was fucking memeing.
For mods on Twitch. And since we've launched that, over 40% of all moderations have gone through ModView. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, and while we're on the topic, you said thanks to
ModView
mods,
is a
and
good product.
I want to reiterate, Mod,
Chat
thank you
identity.
so much. You are absolutely amazing and a core part of why Twitch is what it is and ensuring that Twitch remains a safe place to
Well,
be.
how do I change that?
For your consistent and always
here.
on work.
Yeah, the mod teams are just incredible. They are truly one of the most important aspects of Twitch, and so this is an area where we continue to invest to try and make your lives easier. And thank you for everything that you do to help create a safe place.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
So I'm going to jump into some more of the products beyond ModView. So the first improvement is
xQcl.
we added notifications for reporters. So historically, the reporter experience was a little bit of a black box.
Chat, that was pretty pog. I want to stop watching it because
but I will just reiterate,
but yet I am still
if
getting
you did make a
nowhere.
comment and you were
Will
asked
I ever
to stop,
find success?
Oh, wait!
it was
Maybe.
in violation of the harassment guidelines, then there could be grounds for enforcement. And so I just encourage people, like, if you don't have a relationship with the other person and you're unsure, what their sort of tolerance for particular kinds of behaviors are, it's probably best to avoid them.
Yeah.
See, that was interesting. I'm glad you.
The chat roles. Know
That was
what
good.
you're getting into, have that level of confidence before you do something that could potentially put your account at risk. So I think we've covered broadly what the harassment policy updates look like. So let's move into hateful conduct. Can you cover what's changing or what's been clarified there?
Yeah, so let me just kick off with clarifying the difference between
Why, they're missing a
harassment and
letter?
hateful conduct.
See, this is what I was saying.
Harassment becomes hateful conduct
Missing
when
the
you
L.
target someone on the basis of a protected, usually identity-based characteristic. And so in this policy change,
When the
we
attack is based on a
expand
protected characteristic, which is
characteristics
identity-based,
and included caste,
gender,
colour, and
race.
immigration status. And the reasoning for that is we want to evolve with the community. And so we heard from our community that they felt these were protected characteristics that were not included in our previous policy, and we really needed to step up.
Chat, this includes spawn point,
And then
disabilities.
Similarly to the harassment section, it's a very similar
Certain
approach in that
stats,
we've
probably,
added
like height.
a lot of illustrative examples. So
Right.
all of these behaviors were implied in the policy we have in place now, but they weren't explicitly called out. And so we've made an effort to actually break those out for you, so it gives you a more tangible sense of how these policies are actually interpreted.
Does this apply to chat? Yeah, this does apply to chat too.
Incredibly brief and didn't accurately portray the amount of severity and importance that we put on making sure that there is not hateful conduct on Twitch and that nobody experiences that behavior. So if you are new, you've never heard about what these policies
Yeah,
look
they're adding something called live ban.
updates will
If you
look like,
use
I would
the emote
definitely
feels
encourage
weird
you
man
to
too
go
many times,
look at the
you're just gonna
blog,
get
go
you're just
look
gonna get
at,
shit banned.
the information
Shut
that we
up.
put out there. We did an entire section on Creator Camp talking specifically about what these policies would look like. There is a lot of information, even specifically as it comes to the hateful conduct policy. So review it, ensure that you understand what it means, both as a streamer and as a viewer, so that you know that Twitch is protecting you. And if you have questions about that, please let us know.
Twitch going
Again,
soft.
Q&A at the
Not
end.
really.
Sarah will be joining us there, so exclamation point ask in the chat. Finally, we've covered those two. Let's move on to the sexual harassment section.
Oh,
what are the calls
harassment.
that the community should note there?
Here it comes.
Absolutely. So first off, the big one is obviously that we're breaking sexual harassment out from
Objectifying,
harassment and
harassment
hateful
behaviors.
conduct, and we've called it out separately. And so this new policy
Wait a minute.
talks about behaviours that could be objectifying or abusive and makes it clear that these are never permitted on Twitch. Because of this, our trust and safety team will act without requiring any indication from the target that the behaviours are unwanted. This is a really notable and
Wait,
important
live
change.
groomers will be banned.
Critically important one, because what it does is take the onus off the victim of that behaviour to report it. And so community reports around that and a review from our trust and safety team ascertaining that indeed it did breach
Chat,
the
guys,
community
I hate to bring it to you, chat, and I feel bad about this,
will be
but
enough for us
this
to
is more towards chat
so
than it
we've
is
also prohibited things like repeated
creators.
comments
Just normally people are
towards
decent.
appearance if they've asked you to stop, and also making explicit comments about someone's
Guys,
sexuality.
Guys,
And
streamers
I
will
honestly hope
usually go like,
sounds like common
wow,
sense,
pretty hot,
but we
lol.
wanted to ensure
But chatters more often than not will say,
crystal
show
clear about
Bobs
our
now!
expectations of the
See,
behaviours we
there's a
expect
difference there.
when we're part of the Twitch community.
Yeah, I know that there are definitely several communities that will be glad to see that those changes are going into effect, but I think it's fair to say that there is absolutely skepticism about our ability to provide consistent enforcement. We've mentioned it multiple times, like we're trying to improve the consistency there. And so one of the questions that we've gotten from the community is asking you to speak to what we're doing specifically to improve the consistency across our enforcement.
Chat, that's fine. Chat, these changes aren't big or like crazy. Those are
absolutely, and this is a great
really knew
question,
this.
and we absolutely
Chat,
acknowledge the fact.
guys, in my opinion, chat,
policies are only as good as
the behavior of people will be the same,
and
but this will make it so when people are out of line, that they have more of an argument because of TOS.
At TwitchCon last year,
Which I think is
in
fine.
America, and explained part of the reason we'd historically had issues with consistency was we actually had different teams managing trust and safety across the business, and that just inevitably led to inconsistency.
Okay. Next.